Success means Witcher 3. We got to see CDPR improving itself and its games in the trilogy of Witcher. They perfected the game by releasing Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a game that sold over 15 million copies, a game that is considered the best of all times by many people. It's been 8 years and now Witcher fans are thrilled yet again when CDPR announced they're making not only another Witcher game, but a trilogy. As excited as we are, this announcement raises many questions. So without further ado, let's delve into the latest news around the next Witcher game. Hello fellow Witchers, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of my future videos. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for your support. The Witcher 4, codenamed Polaris, was announced all the way back in March 2022. Although we don't know what would this game be called, we will refer to it as Witcher 4. The first 3 Witchers were by definition a trilogy, so we simply could not name the next game The Witcher 4. Kaczynski said in an interview. In 2015, speaking to IGN, senior writer Jacob Samulak, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, confirmed that the studio felt that The Witcher 3 was a natural endpoint for Geralt. He has had such an amazing adventure, so his saga is already so long and complex that it seemed like a good point to think about an appropriate final story. The confirmation that the medallion shown in this game's announcement is a link certainly suggests that the game will take things in a new direction, potentially that introduces an entirely new Witcher school. So, apparently, by the little information that we have, we can already tell that Geralt of Rivia is not gonna be the main character in the coming trilogy. As they said, The Witcher 3 was a natural endpoint for Geralt. However, I personally would love to play as Geralt and have more adventures with him. I'm sure most of the fans would agree as well. Geralt settling into Sun or spending rest of his life somewhere quiet with Yennefer or in Kovir with Triss is potentially a good ending, but he could always be on the path and do what he does best, and that's being a Witcher. As Geralt himself once said, no Witcher has ever died in his own bed. Yet that does not seem to be what developers have in mind for him. Although it is highly possible that he would appear in those games. I mean, come on, you can't have a Witcher game without Geralt in it. But he's most probably gonna be a side character, like for example Vesemir in previous games. As for the answer to the question, who is gonna be the main character, the best source that we have is this picture released by CDPR. We can see a medallion covered in snow and it belongs to the School of the Lynx. It's a fanfiction Witcher school, not mentioned in the books or even the Witcher games, but it does appear through fanfic posted to an unofficial Witcher wiki. What the writer says is that sorceress Kira Metz and Witcher Lambert set up the School of the Lynx after the events of Battle of Kaer Morhen. They turned the caravan of Catyskull into a new School of Lynx and a new Witcher training school. However, it's tied to 2 characters that can die in The Witcher 3, so it's an interesting thread. However, the School of the Lynx isn't just a speculation, as CDPR has confirmed it. According to that, and as we know that Geralt isn't the protagonist, the main character can be a new Witcher from School of the Lynx, a character you might be able to personalize, like Cyberpunk that you could choose the appearance and so on. If that's the case, CDPR has to work a lot to create new supporting characters. Another likely scenario is that Ciri is gonna be the main character. It is very likely as we got to play as her in The Witcher 3, and the fact that she has close ties to every character we know in the world of The Witcher. Also, she is able to open new doors and bring new experiences, as she is the Lady of Time and Space, and with her we can travel to different worlds. But I have to stop here, as it's all just a speculation. But The Witcher 4's game director, Sebastian Collum, again I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, had this to say. In a recent interview, The Witcher 4's game director Sebastian dropped a hint that suggests Geralt of Rivia will return to the series, but whether he'll be the title's main character is yet to be seen. Sebastian suggested that the game will involve Geralt of Rivia in at least some way. The Witcher 4 won't be out for some years, and it'll be a long time since the previous one. So we cannot just target the audience already fond of the saga. We must also build a new community. On that note, I believe I can say it will be an excellent entry point for many players, without forgetting the long-time fans who still wish to follow Geralt's adventures. During a recent earnings call, CDPR's former CEO Adam Kaczynski discussed the implications of the studio's shift to Unreal Engine 5 in partnership with Epic Games. He said, "We are preparing things on the pipeline side and toolset sides." He begins. "Some developers are still learning the technology, and at the same time, there are teams working together with Epic on those aspects that are needed for our open-world RPGs. For the first project, Polaris, it will maybe not slow down, but it won't accelerate the process. But for the next projects, we assume that it should smoothen the production." He continues, "That was one of the reasons behind saying the strategy that we want to release 3 big Witcher games within 6 years, starting from the release of Polaris, which is Witcher 4. In brief, moving to Unreal Engine 5 means the studio has more access to wider features, solutions, and tools that can make environment more detailed, more realistic, and have a great sense of overall visual fidelity than ever before. As a note, this does mark the beginning of a partnership with Epic, but does not mean the game will be an Epic Game Store exclusive. CDPR's own engine was a very capable one, as they made Cyberpunk with it, and that game's visuals is one of the most realistic and beautiful ones out there, and we all know how demanding that game is. Yet Unreal Engine 5 takes it to another level. We have seen demos of this engine, and knowing CDPR, they are gonna take it to its limits and deliver a game unlike any other before. Let's just say I'm glad they chose that engine, and I'm anticipating to see one of the most visually realistic games ever. With the release of Cyberpunk 2.0 and Phantom Liberty expansion, a huge part of developers at CDPR are now being moved to Witcher 4. Hopefully this means that the development itself will speed along, and news about the game will also come more steadily. By the middle of 2024, the Polish studio hopes to have 400 people working on the game. Longtime CEO Adam Kaczynski stepped down from the role at the end of 2023, with Chief Creative Officer Badowski joining former Chief Commander Officer Mikhail Nowakowski again. I have no idea how they're pronounced, in sharing the top spot. Hopefully, between them, they can change CDPR's recent reputation after Kaczynski took the blame for Cyberpunk 2077's dreadful release. Badowski explained that the next phase of Witcher, a new trilogy codenamed Polaris, will soon start the production phase, with 400 developers on its team by the middle of the year. So with the workforce shifting towards the project, I think it's highly possible we get some news nearing the end of 2024. In response to a question about development timeline of the new trilogy, CDPR's president Adam Kaczynski explained that for Polaris we are preparing technologies. This is the first project to be released on the new engine, Unreal 5. There is a need of some extra work making this technology viable for a huge open-world, story-driven game. So for this project, for sure, we need some extra effort to deliver. The second and third installments should go smoother as technology will be better and the tools and the pipelines will be there. But this is all I can say for now. A follow-up question asked whether it would be reasonable to assume it's going to take longer than 3 years to develop, and Kaczynski said, yes, it is. So 2025 at least, it is then. Now, let's talk about implementation of AI in the coming Witcher game. As Nowakowski told, it's safe to say they were considering it, as CDPR formed an internal team to investigate how AI could be useful. However, the studio thinks that AI is something that can help improve certain process in the game, but not replace people. We have to remember that the AI big companies have access to is much more advanced than what we have, and using it certainly accelerates the progress. But there is always the danger of people losing their jobs. But with these recent advances of AI, it is inevitable that companies have to use it. Another interesting news is that CDPR is already running internal demos of Witcher 4 on consoles. Learning lessons from Cyberpunk, the devs at CDPR are already going to great lengths to test their next project and do so from the early stages. As reported by GameRadar, in an interview with CD Projekt Red's engineering director Colin Walde has confirmed that learning from Cyberpunk's disastrous launch on consoles in 2020, for our next project Polaris, we are already running our demos and internal reviews on the console from the very beginning. This means that The Witcher 4 is already being tested on console to ensure that when the day comes, it will have a better chance at sticking its landing. It's great to see CDPR has learned from its mistakes, and when the game finally comes out, we won't have to wait a couple of years for it to be playable. We also have some news about where it would take place. Interestingly, in a recent interview, GameRadar asked acting narrator lead Philip Weber about where he'd like The Witcher 4's story to take place. As you might expect, Weber was keen not to give anything away. He said, "I'm actually working on the new Witcher saga, so whatever I would tell you now would be very leading." But he did provide us with a very diplomatic answer, saying that he would like to return to the northern kingdom of Temeria and its capital, Vizima. "I would always like to return to Temeria and Vizima and see how it looks like right now," Weber explained. "So that's why I'm very happy that we're doing the Witcher 1 remake." Yet, this does not confirm anything. Witcher is an open world game, so of course it's not gonna be limited to one place. We just have to wait and see which new places would open up to us. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to be notified of the upcoming news and progress of the game. I also make lore and other videos about the world of The Witcher, and if you like this content, subscribe. Your support means a lot. Thank you, and have a good day.